Yo, what's up guys? It's your boy Anizi with What If Naruto started off with latias. So let's get started. So we start off at the age of 5. Ash was walking around Altama by himself. He was playing hide and seek with his mum but couldn't find her. Ash started to cry. When a girl saw this, she asked him what had happened and he had replied with he couldn't find his mum. She then took him to her house where her grandpa asked who was he. She then explains how she found him crying in an alley. Her grandpa, being the nice man he is, hugs Ash, which Ash returns. Ash falls asleep on his shoulder from crying too much. After Ash woke up, they took him to Officer Jenny, who told them they couldn't locate his mum, which caused Lorenzo and Bianca, who was the man and woman, to adopt Ash. We now see Ash, who is 6 years old and will turn 7 tomorrow. Over these years, Ash has met Bianca's mute sibling, who is actually Latias, but they made a lie until they could trust Ash with the secret of the secret garden. A day after he had arrived, he saw her walking around, and when he spotted her, he thought that she was Bianca, so he ran up to her and asked if they wanted to play, but was surprised when she ran away like she never knew him. Lorenzo came up with the excuse when they arrived that this was Tia, her mute twin, which Ash fell for, being the idiot he was. After they had taught sign language to Latias and Ash so that they can communicate without Latias exposing herself to Ash until they could trust him, Ash and Tia had become the best of friends, and Tia was really overprotective of him. Some weird stuff happened, like when he was getting bullied, they somehow were thrown back by some sort of force, the bullies, and when Ash looked at Tia, her eyes were glowing a bit. We now go to see Ash, who is really excited for tomorrow, and his family told him that they have a surprise and a secret to tell him. "Come on, tell me," Ash says with puppy eyes. Bianca almost caved in but steeled herself. "No, you'll find out tomorrow. Your birthday's tomorrow, not today," she teased. "Fine, I'll just ask Tia, she'll tell me. She tells me everything," Ash says. "She would tell you if she knew, but she doesn't know," Bianca says, as Ash was looking around for Tia, who was invisible in her Latias form and was following him laughing. Next morning, Ash woke up at 8:30, which was surprising because Ash never woke up at that time. Ash was surprised when he saw Lorenzo, Bianca and Tia waiting for him, as they ate breakfast and wished him a happy birthday. After that, Ash's adopted family took him to the festival to celebrate the town's guardians, Latios and Latias, bringing water to the town, since the town was a desolate land before that. Ash told his family that he wishes to meet Latias one day, and also Latios, unknown to him that his wish would come true soon. After that, Ash felt hungry. Lorenzo and Bianca finally decided that it was time to tell Ash the family secret, as Ash was part of the family and really trustworthy. After being led to the secret garden, Ash looked mesmerized. He asked what this place is, as Lorenzo explains everything that he did in canon, like the soul do, Latios and Latias. When everything was explained to him, Tia turned into Latias, shocking Ash, and then Latias appeared. Ash had asked why they kept this a secret from him, fearing they were like his actual mother, who he thought abandoned him. Bianca and Lorenzo explained that they needed time to trust Ash, to know that he wasn't some sort of child agent working for an evil organization like Team Rocket or Team Galactic or something like that. Ash's mood lightened knowing that they trusted him now. "Whoa Tia, you're so cool, and so is your brother," Ash said as he hugged Latias, and she hugged him back. Over the next few years, until his 10th birthday, Ash bonded with Latias and kept her a secret from his friends at Altama. Time skip 3 years. We now see Ash getting ready to leave for Pallet Town tomorrow, so that he could beat the Pokemon League and find his mum. As Ash was packing, Lorenzo and Bianca were cheering him on, telling him they believe in him and that he could become the greatest Pokemon trainer. He was packing his things, but stopped when he saw his sad Latias come latch onto him and hug him. "Don't leave please, Ashy," Latias telepathically said. "Latias, I told you already, I need to be Pokemon Master, and I need to leave for that," Ash says. "Then I'll come with you," Latias says, shocking everyone. "No sister, you need to stay here," Ash and Latios say, as Latias smiles knowing that Ash was a pure boy and that he could have had a legendary on his team, but he decided to look at the safety of Altama first. "Please brother, I want to go with Ash and learn to protect myself," Latias yelled. at her brother with puppy dog eyes, which Latios instantly caved in, and so did Bianca and Lorenzo. Well, Lorenzo and Bianca weren't against it, because they wanted Ash to have a powerful Pokemon to protect him. Fine, but Ash has to catch you, and you have to behave, and when the two of you return, you have to beat me if you want to go on another journey, Latios says. Yeah, Ashy, catch me, Latios says, as Ash looked at Latios and Lorenzo and Bianca for permission, who sighed and then nodded. Ash then caught Latias, getting his starter Pokemon. Take care of her, Ash, or I'll come for you, Latios says. Ash woke up the next day. It was his journey, so he went to his family, who came to see him off. After doing the usual hugging his family and then getting talks about tips and tricks on what to do on a journey, Ash let out Latias as he climbed on her back and then flew towards Pallet Town. Lorenzo had sponsored Ash, so all of his Pokemon were going to Lorenzo, and where Lorenzo would keep it in the secret garden, but Ash needed to go to Professor Oak to get the Pokédex. When Ash arrived, Professor Oak was shocked to see who it was. It was the person that Delia left on Altamar for unknown reasons. Oak informs Ash that Lorenzo has sponsored him and that he will provide a Pokédex and 5 Pokeballs, and Lorenzo will be taking care of Ash's Pokemon since he's not sponsored by Professor Oak, which Ash instantly accepts. After getting his Pokédex and Pokeballs, Ash makes his way to Viridian City. En route 1, Ash is walking by eating some food when a flock of sparrow attack him for his food. Ash sends out Latias, seeing nobody was around, and has Latias use Psychic, knocking them all out. Ash then reaches Viridian City but skips the city in general, seeing that his Latias was healed, and goes straight to Viridian Forest. He is then challenged by Samurai on the way to Pewter City. Ash uses Latias, which shocks Samurai, seeing as it's an unknown Pokemon, and then he knocks out all of Samurai's Pokemon with Latias knocking out Pinsir and Metapod with a Psychic attack. Ash then makes his way to Pewter City, where Ash goes to the Pokemon Center to register for the Pokemon League. Ash then heads straight towards the gym. Ash sends out Latias against Brox's Geodude, using Psychic to knock it out in a single blow since Geodude was a weak Pokemon. Brock then sends in Onix, and Ash does the same strategy, use Psychic to knock out Onix, who was weak compared to Latias, getting Ash the gym badge. Brock asks Ash if he could join, and Ash accepts, as Flint comes back and retakes the gym, seeing how good the battle was, and seeing that Ash, who has a legendary Pokemon on him, would be a good influence on Brock since legendary Pokemon only flock to pure-hearted trainers. Ash and Brock go through Mount Moon. Since they were early, they never ran into Team Rocket, and then go straight towards Cerulean City, where he goes to battle at the gym, but Misty Sisters didn't want to battle, so they gave him a gym badge, which Ash angrily and reluctantly accepts, so he can actually get into the Pokemon League. Ash then runs into AJ's gym, where his Latias defeats all of AJ's Pokemon, making AJ lose his win streak, meaning that he could not get the the 100 wins. Ash then goes on to see an Oddish. Brock, wanting to catch the Pokemon, battles it, but a Bulbasaur interrupts, angry that Brock would attack his sick Pokemon, but Ash challenges the Bulbasaur to a battle, saying that if he wins, that Bulbasaur will join him. Bulbasaur accepts, wanting to show its power compared to the humans. Ash sends out Latias, shocking Bulbasaur, but Bulbasaur still decides to battle. The battle ends with Latias knocking it out with a single weak Psychic, and then Ash catching it in a Pokeball, while Brock caught Oddish. Ash then continues on to see an abandoned Charmander. Recognizing it as one of Kanto's starters, Ash challenges it to a battle, after explaining to it that it was abandoned. Charmander, after caving in, accepts the battle. Ash uses Latias, who uses another weak Psychic, knocking out Charmander as Ash catches the Charmander, making Charmander think that it's not as strong, so in the future this will help Ash out. Ash then continues on and is attacked by a squad of Squirtles who try to prank Ash. Latias is angry that a Squirtle would attack her best friends and comes out of her Pokeball and uses Psychic, knocking all of them out. Ash relates to the Squirtles, knowing how it feels to be abandoned, so Ash catches them all to give them a family. Ash then heads towards the Pokemon Center and sends the Squirtle, apart from the one he had in cannon, to Lorenzo. He then tells Bianca and Lorenzo to look after them, and in the future they'll be trained to protect the secret garden by Latios. Ash then goes to grind some levels to train his new Pokemon that he caught, which were Bulbasaur, Charmander and Squirtle. Since Latias is already a high level, he manages to evolve Bulbasaur into Ivysaur. Ash then goes to challenge Lieutenant Surge with his Ivysaur. He starts off with Leech Seed and Stun Spore, paralyzing Raichu and taking Raichu's health, and then uses Razor Leaf since Raichu is unable to move to beat Lieutenant Surge, getting him the 3rd gym badge. Ash then heads on to Saffron City, catching a Gengar at Lavender Town using his Latias, and then beating Sabrina. Ash then goes to Celadon City. On the way he trained his Squirtle and Charmander up to evolve. Due to Ash using Water to beat out the arrogance out of Charmeleon, Charmeleon recognizes it's no longer the strongest Pokemon and then accepts Ash as his trainer. Ash goes to Celadon City using the Charmeleon to wipe the floor with Erica's Pokemon, getting the gym badge. Ash then heads towards the next city gym. On the way, Ash trains his Pokemon. Ash then goes and challenges Koga using Charmeleon to beat his Venomoth, with Charmeleon evolving midway into Charizard. Another difference in this timeline is because Charmeleon was humbled by being defeated by Wartortle, Ash wipes the floor with Koga, securing Ash the 6th gym badge. Ash then goes on to get a boat to Cinnabar Island. On the boat, he battles trainers with Wartortle and Ivysaur, causing Ivysaur to evolve. Ash then heads towards the gym and challenges Brain. Using Wartortle, he manages to take out the Ninetales barely. Ash uses Wartortle against Rhydon, but due to Wartortle being weak, Rhydon manages to pound it. When Wartortle was nearly knocked out, a light covers it as it evolves into Blastoise. Ash's Blastoise then uses Hydro Pump and beats Rhydon. Ash then battles Magma with Blastoise, feeling confident, and one-shots it with a full-powered Hydro Pump that set it flying into water. Ash then got his 7th gym badge. Ash goes to the 8th gym, and like in canon, Ash beats the gym easily since it was left in some weak Grunt's hands. Not like Jesse or James, because they're not even in the story anymore, but yes, some random Grunts. Ash then goes to Pallet Town and meets Professor Oak and Gary. Gary, who remembers Ash for being stupid and weak, mocks him for running away. He then challenges Ash to a battle, but Ash says to wait till the Pokemon League, not wanting to reveal his team. He then goes and trains his Pokemon, getting them to a high level. Ash then calls Bianca, who said they sent him a special set of stones, one that was made for Latias and one that was made for a trainer. Ash puts on the bracelet with the keystone while he gives Latias the stone that was called a Latiasite. Ash then gets an invitation from a Dragonite that a Pokemon Master wants to challenge him and a few other people on his private island. Brock hops onto Latias with Ash and they both go to the new island. Ash is then introduced to Mewtwo, who explains how he is going to take over the world and everything. The other 2 trainers are beaten. Ash battles Mewtwo's clone starters, beating them with his high level starters. Mewtwo gets angry as he starts to battle Ash's Pokemon himself, but is surprised when Ash returns his starters and sends out Latias, surprising Mewtwo, who knew every legendary and saw that a legendary was with a human. Mewtwo gets pissed off that a legendary, someone with powers that would revere them as a god, would work with a lowly human. Latias explains to Mewtwo that Ash is like a brother to her, if not her best friend. Mewtwo was dominating Ash's Latias as Ash gets angry seeing his best friend get hurt, and Latias gets angry that she's letting her best friend down, as they both get angry that they can't show Mewtwo the power of their bond. Ash then sees his keystone start to glow as Ash presses it and Latias starts glowing, and then she's covered in the light as she evolved. Mewtwo is shocked as Latias uses her superior speed to dodge all of Mewtwo's attacks, spamming Mist Ball at Mewtwo until Mewtwo's attack did nothing. Since Mewtwo only had special attacks, Mewtwo's special attack power had been reduced to literally nothing due to the spamming of Mist Ball, which reduces the opponent's special attack power and special defense. Ash then spams sidekick until Mew is knocked out, and then Ash throws a Pokeball at it, catching it. Ash then lets out Mewtwo as he explains that he's sorry for catching it, but it is too dangerous to be left around since it will try to take over the world. Mewtwo explains that he realizes his mistakes and saw how powerful that a bond of a Pokemon trainer and a Pokemon can be, that will even force them to evolve beyond what is capable naturally, and that he hopes to have the same with Ash, and he wants to show his power, the power of cloned Pokemon, to the world. Ash says that he's entering a Pokemon League where the strongest of trainers will be, and that he could show his power over there. Mewtwo agrees and joins Ash's team officially, even though he's been captured. Ash then goes to train at Mount Silver. We now go to the Pokemon League. Ash uses Venusaur to sweep through Mandy's water-type team. The next match is basically Ash using Blastoise and Venusaur to swipe through the opponent's team. The third match is against Pete from Pewter City, who is easily dominated with Charizard destroying his Cloyster with a single Fire Blast and Blastoise taking out his Arcanine with a single Hydro Pump. Everyone was shocked at Ash's power. In this, Gary also beats Melissa, since he had trained hard to prove to Ash that he isn't someone that Ash should push away. Ash's next battle is against Janet, which ends with Ash's Charizard using Fire Blast to take out Beedrill, Cypher and Bellsprout. Ash's next battle is against Richie. Ash begins with Charizard and takes out Richie's Butterfree with a single Fire Blast. Richie then sends out Charmeleon, and Ash switches out to Blastoise and uses Hydro Pump, knocking it out. Richie sends in Pikachu as Ash sends in Venusaur and uses Earthquake, beating Pikachu. Ash then beats Asanta's team easily, going on to the next round, which he also destroyed. In the finals, Gary and Ash faced each other. Gary sends out his Arcanine after telling Ash that Ash was a shit trainer that he got here by luck. Ash sends out his Blastoise. Before Gary can switch out, Ash has Blastoise use Hydro Pump, ending Arcanine. Both recall their Pokemon. Gary sends out Exegator and Ash sends out Charizard. Gary, seeing no point in trying to switch out, has it use Rock Throw. Ash tells Charizard to dodge and then use Fire Blast, easily beating Exegator. Both recall their Pokemon. Gary sends out Golem while Ash sends out Venusaur. Gary uses Rock Blast, but Ash tells Venusaur to use Wine Whip to send the rocks back, as he does, damaging Gary's Golem. And then Ash tells it to release the Solar Beam, finishing off Golem. Gary sends out Kadabra, Ash sends out his Gengar. Ash beats it with having Gengar use Sucker Punch, followed up by a Shadow Ball. What the hell are you? I haven't hit you even once. Where the hell could a dumbass who couldn't even say the names of Pokemon correctly learn to beat me, son of the professor? Gary says, frustrated as he sends out Blastoise. So that was your starter. Now behold my starter and my best Pokemon, a rare Pokemon from where I come from, Gary. Come out, Latias, my best friend, and crush my rival, Ash yells, as Latias appears, shocking everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, it seems that Ash from Altamar has the legendary guardian of his town, the legendary Pokemon Latias, the doctor says as everyone started switching up to cheering towards Ash. How do you have a legendary Pokemon? It's not fair. I'm the son of a professor. You're a boy who got ditched by his mum, Gary yelled, as both Latias and Ash got angry as their stones started to glow. You shouldn't have said that. Latias shown the power of our bond, a power that he can never hope to achieve. Mega Evolve, Ash says as Latias Mega Evolved. Zen Headbutt followed up by Dragon Pulse and then spam Zen Headbutt, Ash says, causing Latias to do that. Gary's Blastoise tried to get into his shell to protect itself, but Latias' speed was way too much as Gary's Blastoise was knocked out. Return, they both returned their Pokemon. Go, Machamp, Gary says. Mewtwo, show the world your power, Ash says. Well, would you look at that, Ash also has the newly discovered legendary Pokemon Mewtwo, the proctor says. How? I should have legendaries, not a loser like you, Gary yelled as he started to rip his hair out. I was meant to be the best. I was meant to be the Pokemon master, not you, Gary yelled. Gary, well, there's absolutely nothing I'd like to do than stand here and listen to you bluster at me till the death of the universe. I have literally a million better things to do. So here's the deal. I want you to use your Machamp to hit my Mewtwo as hard as it can, Ash says. Oh, is that right, Gary says. Now hold on, you might have misheard me. Not half as hard, not some arbitrary percentage. I want your Machamp to hit my Mewtwo as hard as it can. Ash says, and if I don't play along? Gary says, well then, Professor Oak was right about you, says Ash as Gary screams. Machamp, use Dynamic Punch, Gary says, as Machamp uses it on Mewtwo, but Mewtwo didn't even move an inch. It didn't even flinch at the punch when it connected at him. Look at that power. Gary's Machamp can't even hurt Mewtwo. Is this the power of Ash and his legendaries? The proctor says as the crowd started to laugh at Gary. How? Gary yelled. Because Gary, as a soon-to-be loser said, you either win or you're not me, Ash replies, making Gary get mad. Mewtwo, use your weakest Aura Spear, Ash says as Mewtwo does it, sending Machamp flying back as Machamp barely got up but was highly damaged. See Gary, that's what you get for not listening, but since I know you have trouble following directions, I'm gonna give you one last chance. Your Machamp, my Mewtwo, as hard as your Machamp can. Are we clear? Ash says, making Gary get angry. Crystal, Gary says. Machamp, use bulk up. And again, Gary says, repeating again until his Machamp couldn't bulk up anymore. Looks like Machamp has full attack power. Now, will Ash's Mewtwo be able to handle it? Who will win this battle? Altimere's Ash or Pallet Town's Gary? The proctor says, oh ho, that's better. We can actually feel that, Ash says as Mewtwo looked bored, but gave a slight look of interest. In mere moments, all you'll be feeling is defeat, Gary yells. That or disappointment. Go ahead, flip that coin, Ash says. Cross chop, Gary yelled as Machamp hit Mewtwo. Ash ordered Mewtwo to make it look like he went flying back and then hide as Gary started to laugh. You think this is funny? You think this funny? It's not as funny as your face, Ash says as Mewtwo comes out of hiding. Well then, time to finish this. Mewtwo, use Psychic Strike, Ash says as Mewtwo knocks it out with one hit. Winner Ash, proctor says, making Ash the winner of the Pokemon League. Ash then collects his trophy and then heads to Altamar. But guys, that's it for today. Peace.